New Hampshire comes to Folsom Field, their first game here in Boulder this year, and obviously this is a game that's more about CU than the opponent.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, New Hampshire is an FCS team that's been really good over the last 14 years, made the playoffs 14 years in a row, but really off to a slow start. 0-2, starting quarterback got hurt in week 1. They've only scored 10 points in 2 games, so this is one that you look at and think that it looks like it should be a blowout for CU.
Yeah, you talked about their quarterback going out. They just have not been able to manufacture any type of offense. They do have a really talented wide receiver and a really solid FCS defense as well. But if you score, I don't know, even 28 points in this game, you're probably safe.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, especially with that backup quarterback. And actually, things I'm reading, they don't know if the starter will play this week or not.
It sounds unlikely.
It sounds unlikely. If he plays, maybe it's a little bit different, but the backup has not really moved the ball very much. So I would expect I think anything over 20, but especially 28 probably gets the job done here. I think it'll be a little bit different than like UNC coming in last year, that had kind of that edge to him coming from Greeley and did a really good job early in that game. I think it'll be a little bit different than that.
McIntyre has to have this approach and really respect New Hampshire and try to get the players to buy into that as well, but I don't think they're quite the giant killers that maybe he was alluding to.
No, they're really not. I mean, their last Power 5 win came back in 2006 against Northwestern. They've only played 2 Power 5 teams since then and lost them both. This is the first one in 6 years they've played. So, yeah, not quite the giant killer. A really good FCS program and, a lot of respect for what they've done at that level, but certainly I think, especially you throw in the fact that this is a long trip for a team like that, I think you throw all that together and it adds up to being a pretty good day for Colorado.
This is the type of game, obviously, you want to see maybe some guys that are even potentially going to redshirt this year, get their opportunity. We hear Chris Miller, he saw a little special teams action out in Nebraska. He's going to be in the mix at cornerback. A great situation for him to get his feet wet at this level. He actually graded out as their highest cornerback during spring ball, but had the hamstring injury. So that's one guy I'm going to key in on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think we've all been looking forward to seeing him since the spring. I mean, I remember you and I won spring practice for watching him covering LaVisca pretty well and pretty impressed with what he did. So much improvement from last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think this is a great game. McIntyre mentioned he was ready last week. I didn't want to throw him out there against Nebraska. This is a great situation for him, and he's got 2 weeks to learn from that before Pac-12 play.
On the other side of the ball, I've had some questions about Kabion Ento from fans. This is a guy that made the selfless move to redshirt last year and was expected to have a little bit bigger role than he's had through 2 weeks, but this is a game that you'd maybe expect to see him play quite a bit too.
Yeah, I would think so, and I would hope so for Kabion. He's a very selfless act for him to redshirt last year. Hoping for a bigger role this year. So I'm hoping he gets out there, has an opportunity to get out there and make some plays. And he's been playing behind KD Nixon, and you can see why as we've watched the first 2 games. But I hope that it's a game that allows a guy like Kabion to get some more of those opportunities. A guy, Tony Brown as well, that we saw have a couple nice catches late in Nebraska. But those 2 guys I'd love to see. I know both of them. Tony came here for more opportunities. Kabion came back this year for more opportunities. I'd like to see him get that this week.
Yeah, William Sherman, maybe a Chance Lytle, guys like that on the offensive line. Jake Moretti, Maurice Bell at receiver. Defensively, John Van Diest at linebacker. You'd love to get his feet wet on defense. Hassan Hippolyte's another guy. You really want to cultivate that safety depth, and him being out there in game day could accelerate his learning curve a little bit. Yeah,
not only Hassan, but Aaron Maddox as well, who's done well at times, but has not really been out there at safety. Those 2 guys as well. So I think there's a lot of guys that, if this game goes the way we think it should, could be a lot of fun to watch in the second half.
All right, score prediction before we sign off.
I think Colorado wins this going away. I'll go big time. I'll go 58-13.
58-13. I'll go a little more conservative just because I respect New Hampshire's defense. I'll say 48-13. But yeah, this should be a fun afternoon and not a stressful one at Folsom Field.
See, I'm counting on 10 more points out of the Sam Noria-led offense in the second half. So
there you go.
I'm giving them a little bit more credit.
All right. Well, be sure to check out our post-game content after the New Hampshire game.